about the 2-5 Ravens, though? 11-1 there to win the AFC. After sitting out the last 3 games with a hamstring injury, 2-time MVP quarterback Lamar Jackson is expected to return to the lineup Thursday night when the Ravens take on the Miami Dolphins on the road. Jackson was a full participant in Monday's practice, so a strong indication that he is ready to be back under center. But here's more from the quarterback today on how he's feeling.
Can't wait to touch the grass with my guys, man. Been a while.
How challenging has the last few weeks? I mean, take us back to when you got hurt and come out, because we haven't spoken to you in about a month.
Yeah, it was very challenging, man. When I found out I had a hammy injury, and when I was told by the training staff how long I was going to be out and stuff like that, we got to do whatever we can, fast as we could to get back out there, and it's here. Took a little time, but we're here.
So the Ravens may be 2-5, sitting in distant third place in the AFC North, but their season far from over. After last Sunday's win over the Bears, Baltimore faces one of the league's more favorable upcoming schedules. As you take a look at the 5 reasons why the Ravens will win the AFC North, we are going to roll through all of these reasons with our own Douzable here. And this isn't just based on vibes. These are just straight facts here, okay?
That's all we do here, straight facts.
Straight facts, right? We're going to start with number 1 here, and let's start with on the ground. Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, this duo is back.
And the Ravens have been able to get the run game going, even with Lamar Jackson being out the last couple of weeks, starting with that Rams game right before the bye. Derrick Henry goes over 100 there. He didn't go over 100, but they were effective running the football. We saw Snoop Huntley become part of the running game. And that's the question, right, going into this week. How healthy is that hamstring for Lamar Jackson? Because he is so dynamic when he gets out on the edge, and even on some of his scrambles. He is still one of the most efficient passers in the league, but that's when he really becomes dangerous. I'm looking forward to seeing this dynamic duo carry them potentially to an AFC North crown.
Okay, we'll see. Nice little tease there. Last season, by the way, they had combined 7,201 total yards. That's the most by a duo in NFL history. They may get more than that this season. We'll wait and see. Up next, you saw on that list, this team is lucky, if you will, to be in the worst division since the 2020 NFC East. The AFC North has the worst record, 11-19 by any division so far this year. Also the worst point differential by any division through 8 weeks since that 2020 NFC.
I feel like the NFC South is vying for like a close second or almost tie. But you're right. This is why for Vegas for a majority of the season had them at minus money to win the division, or it was right there even with the Pittsburgh Steelers, even though the Steelers had like a 3 or 4 game lead on them, because this division is so bad. We saw all 3 of these teams opposite of the Ravens lose this past week, right? The Jets beat the Bengals. The Browns end up getting beat down this past week. And then we also saw the Steelers get beat down as well by the Green Bay Packers. So slowly but surely, right? You see it right there. The Ravens were at the bottom of this division. Now they're already at 3rd. They're only a game back from 2nd place, and they still have to play the Steelers twice. They still got to play majority of the AFC North games. So this is why Vegas had them as the favorites, even with a losing record, because this division, to your point, has been so bad.
Next up, their schedule. Cakewalk, Lige. The Ravens have the easiest strength of schedule from weeks 9 to 13. I want you to take a look at this, okay? You tell me which game is an L.
It's hard to pick one. Now, again, if the Ravens continue to play like they've played on defense, I know we're going to talk about the defense later, and Lamar does come back to being who he was, right? It's hard for me to pick out. Lamar usually never loses at home, and I say at home because he's from the South Florida area. He plays the Dolphins this Thursday night. The Vikings are going to be rolling out a rookie quarterback or second-year quarterback who's essentially a rookie in J.J. McCarthy. The Browns have a rookie quarterback right now. The Jets just did come up with a big win versus the Bengals, but they've struggled all year long. And we talked about the Bengals, right? They just lost to the Jets. So when you look at it, they really struggled in the beginning of the year, but they had probably the hardest schedule coming out the block when you talk about playing contending teams. Now that schedule, it really bodes well for them. That's why winning Sunday was so pivotal for the Ravens' success to propel them potentially to win this division.
A lot of people probably tuning in saying, what are you talking about? They're 2-5 right now, but when you kind of dig a little bit deeper, 3 of those 5 losses actually came against Super Bowl contenders, both Buffalo, Detroit, and KC. What do you tell those people?
And that's what I was just saying. When you're coming out the gate, they had like the hardest schedule. They were literally playing the top of the top. 3 of those teams are probably top 6 in the NFL as far as being the better teams in the NFL. And we go back to that Buffalo game, they essentially gave that game away. Remember, that was a hellacious comeback in the fourth quarter from the Buffalo Bills, aided by a Derrick Henry fumble. So when you look at it in totality, we just saw the schedule and what's ahead for the Ravens. They took the best punches from around the league, and that defense hadn't played up to the standard. Well, the defense is finally starting to come along, and if Lamar Jackson can continue to play how like he played before the injury, they have a real chance here to shock the world.
You mentioned this defense, just so we come with facts, right, to kind of compare.
Facts.
They were dead last in scoring defense from weeks 1 to 5.
Yeah.
From weeks 6 to 8, they are tied for 6th.
They've been the best, right? And again, a bye was thrown in there. But the last 2 games, this defense has played really well. You see it right there. The last 2 weeks, they're tied for 6th yardage per game, top 10 in red zone defense, which, again, if you win in the red zone, you win third down, you win a turnover margin, it gives you a higher percentage to win the football game. They've had so many injuries on that side of the ball, but Jordan, everybody's starting to come back. Roquan Smith was big Sunday. John Jenkins has been big in the middle next to Travis Jones, trying to mitigate the run because they struggled to stop the run earlier. And you see Teddy Buchanan, number 40, he's done a really good job next to Roquan Smith. We saw a Mike Green sighting, their second-round pick. He had a sack in the red zone, going back to standing up tall, and there it is right there. Standing up tall in the red zone. If you can hold teams to field goal attempts instead of giving up touchdowns, you have a real chance to win. To me, that's been the biggest thing. Yes, Lamar's been out, but the defense is starting to come along the last couple of weeks.
With all this being said, it seems like a no-brainer. They're going to win this upcoming Thursday night football.
The Dolphins played good this last week,
This is true, but you sold me on some of those points there. Lamar Jackson is back, also playing in front of his home crowd. I always forget that he's from South Florida.
Correct.
But what's your best bet in this game?
I'm going to take the 7.5 with the Ravens. I just feel like the trajectory arrow is going up. We saw what they did with Snoop Huntley. They just got adequate quarterback play from their quarterback Sunday, and we saw them put up 30 versus Chicago Bears team, who had won 4 in a row. It was actually playing really good defense and also were able to run the ball. They weren't able to run the ball consistently against the Ravens. When you look at Tua Tagovailoa, I think they'll try to mitigate Devon Achane, make Tua get to his second and third read, and that way they'll be able to get guys like Mike Green to the quarterback, Douzable, Van Noy to the quarterback. They're going to send waves at him as well. They're going to be physical with their receivers. I like the Ravens to continue this trajectory up. Again, Lamar Jackson does not lose at home in South Florida.
Continuing the trajectory up to win the AFC?
I'm gonna say they're gonna win the AFC North. I'm not gonna say they're gonna win the AFC.
You're not there.
They were my Super Bowl pick,
They were.
so I gotta stick with them. But they kind of dug themselves a hole. But I do believe the Ravens do ultimately win the AFC North.
All right, we'll leave it there. Leger Douzable joining us here live, CBS Sports HQ, as Lamar Jackson set to be back under center as the Ravens will be in prime time against the Miami Dolphins Thursday night football. From Miami, kickoff, as you see there, 8:15 Eastern time. We also have some really big primetime games on CBS. We'll see the Colts and Steelers, 1 o'clock Eastern time, and then the Chiefs and Bills, our NFL Today crew, on the road for that game. It's going to be fun.